So today let's take a look at a cheap Chinese multimeter which comes in a bag in some protective wrap and some bubble foil. Here's the manual for it, the leads and the multimeter in a bubble foil, and that's it. It comes from eBay for $3 including shipping, and the listing says DT830B LCD digital multimeter, AC/DC voltage and DC meter. They probably wanted to say DC current meter, and handheld tester tool. When you take a look at it, you can see that the voltage ranges are DC and AC, but the current ranges are just DC. There is no AC current. So as you can see, it's very basic, but for some beginners it still could be useful. There are DC and AC voltages, DC current, a high current range with a separate connection here, a transistor test, diode check and resistances. So now let's test it. Well, there is probably no battery in it. Did I really expect a battery in it for $3 including shipping? So let's open it and see what battery does it require, but usually it's a 9-volt battery. So let's open it. There are 2 screws in it here. And that's it. And there's not much of it in it. Just a tiny board and a lot of empty space. So here's the 9-volt battery connector, and what surprises me is that I can't see any fuse or high voltage resistors. But maybe it's from the other side of the board. But before opening it further, let's test it, of course. So let's put a battery in it and close it. And now testing time. It seems to work. So let's connect those cables to it. And let's try to measure some voltages with it. For example, a battery like this one. .4. It's a manual range, so we have to switch it manually. 1.43. And even more accurate. Does it work? The switch is kind of... sometimes it loses connection. That's odd. .431. There is no decimal point because it actually measures in millivolts. So let's compare it with my other meters to see the accuracy of it. It's not so bad. Now let's try AC voltages using my AC wall adapter. It's basically just a transformer with no rectification in it. And the voltage is going to be, let's set it to AC. 10.8, and the other meter says, well, as you can see, it's not very accurate at AC voltages. It's using the most simple AC measurement system, basically just a diode in series. When I set it to AC and try to measure a battery, which is DC, in one polarity it shows some random number, and in the other polarity it shows a 0. The AC voltage meter is basically just a DC voltage meter with a diode in series and recalibrated. Now let's test the 10 amp range here. And I have no resistance in series, but it's okay because of the resistance of the wires. And it seems kind of okay. Now let's try some low current to test the low current ranges. So let's rearrange it and let's use some resistor in series and test it. That's okay. Now let's test some diode. .57 volts voltage drop, and this one says 0.57 as well. So that's nice. Now some resistors. This one is 33 kilo ohms. So let's set it to 200 kilo ohms here and measure it. And it's quite close. And the other one says that's quite close. So here's my cat going to help me, and let's try some low resistance like 4.7 ohms. And it's showing about 4.9. And there is also some resistance of the cables, about 0.4 ohms. When I move it a little bit, it changes slightly, 0.3, that's okay. And the resistance meter goes up to just 2 mega ohms, which means that if I try to measure this 2.2 mega ohm resistor, it's not going to show anything. And it also has a transistor current gain measurement. So if you stick a transistor in it like this, you can measure its DC current gain. If you manage to make a contact with all 3 pins, of course, which is sometimes a little bit tricky. And it's about almost 300. Now the question is, what happens if I set it to AC volts and stick it in mains? This is probably not a good idea, but let's try this anyway. And of course you have to go behind the door. So let's go. Go, go, go. Go. So now let's try to stick it in mains. It says it's up to 750 volts AC. So let's test it. Is it going to blow up? It's actually okay. It measures the voltage well and doesn't explode. And that's nice. Now let's see what the internal resistance of the voltage range is. Normally it's usually about 10 mega ohms, but here it's 1 mega ohm at 200 millivolts. At 2 volts it's infinite. That's weird. 20 volts, 1 mega ohm, 200 volts, 1 mega ohm, 1000 volts, 1 mega ohm, and now the AC range is 750 volts AC, and the internal resistance is 2.3 mega ohms, and the other range 200 volts, also 2.3 mega ohms. Now let's take a closer look inside. Let's open the 2 screws and let's try to look for some fuse in it and some high voltage resistors in resistive dividers. But I can't see any. As you can see, there is not much of it in it. Here is the 9 volt battery, the connector for the transistors, the connections for the cables. Here is the high current shunt, probably 10 milliohms. Here is the low current shunt, a 1 ohm resistor. Quite a tiny one for this purpose, actually. Here's a high voltage diode for the rectification during the AC voltage measurement. It's the most simple way of measuring AC voltage. It's measuring in just 1/2 cycle, and because of the voltage drop of the diode, it can't be very accurate and it can't measure very low voltages. And here you can see the resistive divider made of just tiny SMD resistors, and this is supposed to handle 750 volts AC and 1000 volts DC. Are you kidding me, guys? And here you can see some other tiny SMD resistors and capacitors, and here is the chip under a black blob. And here is the LCD display connected using a strip of conductive rubber. Now let's take a look under the board. Is there any other component? Let's unscrew it, but I don't hope for any high voltage resistors or fuses, of course. And there's absolutely nothing. Just those contacts of the rotary switch and this connector for transistors and no other components at all. And here's the switch with the sliding contacts. So as you can see, there is no high voltage resistor in it. The high voltages are handled by those tiny resistors here. And there is also no fuse. There is a space for a fuse in it, but there is none. And there is also no calibration potentiometer in it. This current sensing resistor seems too tiny to me, and also this shunt is not the biggest. And there is also a space on the board to replace it with a big SMD resistor, which is completely ridiculous. And to make it even more ridiculous, the housing actually says the rating of the non-existent fuse. This is just amazing. Now let's try to reverse engineer the input circuitry of it. She's going to draw a schematic of it for me. So here's the schematic of the voltmeter. No, it's not for you. So here you can see the voltmeter with the resistive divider in it, and the switch is just choosing different taps on the divider, and when you set it to AC, the voltage just goes via this diode and a different resistance, and that's it. The AC measurement just couldn't be more simple. And from the switch, the voltage goes via this tiny SMD resistor, 1 mega ohm, and directly into the chip. And there is also not much protection. There is no zener here, and this SMD resistor is quite tiny. The resistor is here. So if you set it to 200 millivolts and accidentally stick it in high voltage, this tiny resistor is the only component protecting the chip. At 1000 volts DC or 750 volts AC, any of those resistors could easily arc over. Now let's do some calculations. The total resistance of all those resistors in series is 1 mega ohm. And at 1000 volts DC, which is the maximum, the current is going to be 1000 volts divided by 1 mega ohm or 1 million ohms, and this is 0.001 amps or 1 milliamp. So here's the current in this resistive divider. Now the voltage drop of this resistor is going to be the current times the resistance of it, and this is 548 volts on this tiny SMD resistor. And the power dissipation of it is going to be the voltage times the current, and this is 0.548 watts, which is quite a lot for such a tiny resistor, of course. Now let's take a look at AC voltages. The AC voltage goes here via this diode into those 5 resistors. And those 4 resistors in total are 100 kilo ohms. And this one is 352, so in total it's 452 kilo ohms. So we have 750 volts at a 452 kilo ohm resistor, and this is 1.65 milliamps. So here's the current of those resistors, and because this resistor has the highest resistance, it's going to have the highest voltage drop on it. And it's going to be the current times the resistance of it, and this is 584 volts on it, which is quite a lot. But because of this diode, it's actually 1/2 cycle of this AC voltage. Now the power dissipation of it is going to be the voltage times the current, which is almost 1 watt, but because it's just 1/2 cycle, it's going to be half of it. So divided by 2, and this is 0.48 watts. And the peak voltage on this resistor is going to be the AC voltage times a square root of 2, or 1.414. And this is 825 volts peak on this tiny resistor. So this is definitely dodgy. And this diode is rated for 1000 volts. And the peak reverse voltage is going to be 750 volts AC times the square root of 2 is 1060 volts on 1000 volt diode. That's nice. So as you can see, it's not really rated for those voltages it claims. And here you can see the current measurement system, which basically just switches different current sensing resistors. And then it goes via the same 1 mega ohm resistor into the chip. So as you can see, there is absolutely no protection whatsoever. If you overload it, you destroy those resistors. And if you accidentally, for example, stick it in mains set to current, those resistors are going to literally explode. There definitely should have been some fuse in it in series, and also some protection against overvoltage, for example, diodes in anti-parallel, protecting it against overvoltage by its voltage drop. For example, something like this. This would be much better. And also the voltage measurement has no protection in it. There should have been some voltage limiter for the chip, for example like this. Or like this, using two Zeners, like this. And it's also possible to use a metal oxide varistor in parallel to protect it against overvoltage, and some PTC thermistor as a reversible fuse. And also this resistor should have been rated for much higher voltage, not a tiny one. And this diode should be rated for more voltage, at least like 1500 volts. So they definitely could have been designed much better, but probably not for $3. And there are also much better ways of measuring AC voltage than just using a diode in series. But it's also more complex. And the high voltages are in those tracks on the board with just a tiny spacing, which is also questionable. So this multimeter actually works, but it's not very safe and reliable. And this multimeter actually seems to be a knockoff of another multimeter. As you can see, this is the new one, and this is my old multimeter. And as you can see, the type number is the same. It's DT830B. And it looks almost the same. It has the same display, the same switch with the same ranges, and it's more or less the same, but when you take a look inside, the internals are different. As you can see, the original one has a proper fuse in it here. The high current sensing shunt is much bigger here than this one. The low current sensing resistor is also much bigger here than this one, and here you can see the resistors in the voltage divider, which are much bigger, and they are probably rated for the full high voltage. And here you can see the calibration potentiometer in it. There is a shielding plate in it here, connected using this spring. And it's shielding this circuitry here. So as you can see, the same type number doesn't always mean the same internals in it. And the original one has a cat on it, cat 1, the other one has no cat. So this multimeter works, it's not so bad for the price, but it has no protections, not much safety, and no cat. It can be good for circuits with low voltage and low currents, but it's definitely not a good idea to stick it in some fuse box or distribution board or some building wiring. This is just crazy to imagine. It's just for safe voltages and low currents, no mains and no car batteries, for example. So this is Diagon Wild, and see you in my next videos, and thanks to all of my patrons on Patreon. I really appreciate your support. And should I try to make a high voltage test of this one? What do you think? Is it a good idea?